Hello everyone and welcome back to the Luna Galaxy. My name is Luna and we are coming in with a speed build of a build I have been trying to do for I don't even know how long. And I don't even know if I want to say trying. It's more so I have had it in my mind and I just hadn't done it yet. We are going in with a theater build and I wanted to build this in Dell Sol Valley across from the place where there's a lounge where they have all of their award ceremonies, which I'll probably redo that build anyway. But I wanted to put it in like the heart of where the celebrities would be. So this is where the celebrities would go see, their premiere, where people would go to possibly get autographs if they're there as well. And I didn't want to make it too big of like a hangout spot. So what I did was I made like the waiting room area not very small, but small enough to where you're in and out and you're there to go watch the movie. There are two viewing screens that I put together. And I kind of wanted to make this, in a sense, kind of like the old time movies, to where you had to wait outside at the ticket booth and then you go in, get your concessions, and then you're off. And I know that that's like, oh, what about the rain? Well, guess what? They did it back then too. It's fine. But I really had the vision of one of my local places in mind, of our movie theater, and then something that I would feel comfortable with. Because I know when I've seen a couple of movie theater builds, I usually had an arcade somewhere, or even movie theaters that I've been to, where there was like, it was big enough to where you could just kind of just hang out while you're waiting. And I didn't really want that. It's pretty much like get in, get to where you want and watch your movie. Now, this does work really well. I have brought my entire Sim family here, and they were watching one of my overrides that I had. I think I would put on Pocahontas. And so I did put, like, when you go inside where they have concessions, I feel like I didn't go as crazy as I normally do with clutter, because that wasn't my main focus. So I could have done a lot more, especially if, I went in there and really dug in with the CC, but I kept this a base game. So pretty much all you would have to make sure that you had was that you had the DLCs that I used. I used a lot of Get to Work. I used a lot of the bowling. Used a lot of the Get Famous. Those were the main packs that I used. There were some packs here and there of little stuff. I saw I used something from Pets. I don't even know what I used from Pets, honestly. It was probably something in the bathroom. But it is a completely no CC build, so it does show up without having to use a CC button. I do have one that is under CC because I actually staged my deco sims because I had movie theater decos. And again, if you want any of my CC ever, or any information of where I get them, there is a link down below that is a Google document that says mods and CC, and if you click on that, it actually has a ton of links of what I'm actually using in my game and a lot of what I'm using in my build. So if that's helpful to you, and I do update it as regular as possible when I do add things, so I wanted to give you guys access to that as well. So as I'm doing this build, I'm starting to really love the front side. I don't know what it is lately. I have this fascination with like a center totem, I guess you would say, like a center round piece area. And I did the same thing in my hospital where I had a center tower, and like that was like my main focus for whatever reason. Like I personally can't even explain it, but I had the same idea with this one, and I'm like, okay, once I got the movie thing up there in my brain, I was like, the front half that says the movie titles, I'm like, this is gonna fall. Like in my brain, I was like, if there's a tornado, like this is the first thing that's falling. If there's a big, like, it's not stable. So I went ahead and put some, I don't even know what they're called. They're not pipes. What are they? They're stands. I'm gonna say it to hold that up. But I think about those little things. That's just me and how my brain works. I can't explain it. But this is where I'm working on the center concession stand area. Like I said, I put the popcorn popper because that makes perfect sense. You're at a movie theater, you want popcorn. And then I ended up going in and putting a cooler in there, one of the refrigerator coolers. So if you wanted to go in and actually have your sim eat or snack on something, then there it is. But if you have CC for a movie theater, like, you can go to town with it and make it a full looking order here, concession, candy, all of that. But like I said, that just wasn't my focus. So I didn't put a lot of emphasis into that. I did want to make sure I put in like the movie posters and all of that and little memorabilia to kind of, give it that feel when you walk into a movie theater. So when I went into the actual rooms, I again, in my brain, I wanted to have the feel and illusion of a real movie theater. And so you have the projection room. Now, again, the projection room, I didn't put a lot of thought into. It wasn't that big of a deal. No sim should really be going back there. But I just put a simple, I think I put one of the tables that looks like it has a bunch of buttons on it. And then I put one of the DJing tables because, again, it looks like something that would be in a projection room, even though it's for DJing. And then I used the projector on the wall and then put a window in to make it give that illusion that that's where your movie is coming from. I know it's the littlest things, but for me, it just gives that realism and that feel of it there, you know? The one part I had fun with was honestly making the stairs and like making the actual movie theater and being able to use these platforms. Yes, they are still a little finicky, so you kind of have to go in and manipulate them. So I had to make each level outside of the room and then copy it and then drag it over. And then I had to make one each different layer before I put it in there because then it would count as one whole layer when you stuck it next to it. So I'm like, oh, well, great. Of course that's what happens. So I had to, like I said, shorten each one and then drag it over and put it down. And then I went through and give the effect of having all of the chairs. And then what I wanted to do was when I had the chairs, I went ahead and put in a couple of love seats because that way then you can have your sim in there when they're sitting with someone and they can cuddle and do different things because they can't do that in the individual chairs. So I went ahead and at the end of it, I went through and I made the love seats. And I pretty much didn't want to keep it super dark, and that's why I put a little bit more lights on the side, and I pretty much kind of copy and pasted the next room over because I had to flip everything. I was going to have it to where the steps actually walk up the inside of the wall, but then I changed my mind and I didn't want to do that, so I ended up I copy and pasted everything over and then scooted everything over to where I needed it to be, and then that way it kind of gives it that mirror image and say so. I went ahead and put more posters up on the wall of the more movie posters I found. I didn't know I had these posters until I went digging in like debug. And so I thought that was really cool. And I had just enough to like label them out in each room. And so that kind of gave me more to play with since I didn't have a lot of space in the sitting area. And so I went ahead and put them as like when you're walking down the hallway to get to your movie theater. So you can still look at a couple cool movie posters or, you know, movies that are coming out and stuff like that. The projection room stairs, I really wish that you could push the stairs into the wall and just have the door there. That drives me insane. The littlest thing, but it does drive me insane. So the stairs do stick out a little. But like I said, no sim should really be going up there because they can't even get to the chairs. If they do go there, they're just standing there. I went ahead and put those trash cans there because my movie theater actually has similar ones when you're leaving. So that's why those are there, so they can actually have somewhere to throw things away. It does have a his and her bathroom that I put on the sides of the intermission. I think I forgot to take pictures of it, but I mean, you guys know what a bathroom looks like. It has 3 stalls each, 2 sinks, a mirror, and, you know, not that much detail goes into his and her bathroom. So, that wasn't really a main focus for me. Another thing that I was talking about, I forgot to talk about, was when I did the chairs and all that, like I put all the chairs, I ended up putting love seats. I went ahead and put the short walls behind each one. So then that way, because I know my movie theater usually has some type of a break, so you're not specifically like kicking or touching the chairs, which is nice. You don't have someone kicking your seat and you're like, please stop, please stop. Yeah, you probably kicked the wall, but I don't think it really bothers anyone as much. At least I haven't noticed. So I went ahead and put the little walls up there. And then I had to use a specific TV because the TV I had originally put and made it bigger, it was actually like going through the curtains. I think this is one of the actual wall-mounted TVs that came with Get to Work, possibly. I can't remember which one. It was either Get to Work or Get Famous. And so then I had to go through and change that because I wanted to have that big red curtain in the back there. I don't know why that's like an iconic thing in my brain that I remember as a child going to movie theaters and going to any type of big show. There was always a big red curtain. So anytime I do like any type of screen or any type of production build, I always have a red curtain. It just has a little bit of that nostalgia that I usually end up going towards constantly. So I really like how the outside turned out. I had originally started with a brick, and then I think I had red, and I don't know why. The outside is very difficult for me, trying to figure out what I want the building to look like. That is one of my hardest things, and it used to be landscaping. So I'm hoping if I do what I did when I got comfortable with landscaping, I pretty much started looking at landscaping magazines and would pay more attention to like houses around me. So maybe I need to start looking at buildings a little bit more in different surroundings, because anytime it comes to any type of wallpaper, coloring, carpet, do I use carpet? Do I use wood? Do I use tile? I usually try and wait to do it last, and it's going to take me a long time, probably longer to do that than the actual build will take. And I don't get it. This is how it works. So here I am working on the his and her bathrooms. Like I said, very simple, very basic. Didn't put a lot of detail into it. Just wanted to make it spacious enough for the bodies that would be coming here. Because I imagine, I know I have a drive-in movie theater, and that movie theater actually gets a lot of Sims traveling in there. There's usually quite a bit of people going in and out, so when I do builds like this, I expect there to be quite a bit of Sims coming in and out, so I try and make sure there's enough of everyone to do something, or to, try to gather around and do something, especially when a place like this, it's not exactly a hangout spot. So there's more than enough chairs for people to come in, and then if you like to use Deco Sims, or if you use a mod where you can get more Sims to vacate to these areas, then you have that plain and simple ready for you. So as we're getting everything kind of the final touches, I end up closing up that gap in the bathrooms for whatever reason it's there. I did a lot of squares and then just kind of manipulated them from there. I didn't think I was going to do a lot of landscaping on this, but then after looking at it, I didn't want it to be completely concrete or just completely slab. So I did end up putting 2 sitting areas on either side of the theater. So I'm like, you know what, that's not too much, because it is still in the heart of Dell Sol Valley, because I put it, like I said, by that lounge. So when you're looking around, there's other places around you. So I can see Sims, walking around, even stopping to sit here, or, their movie hasn't started yet and they're just going to sit here for a while. So I went ahead and did add some landscaping, and of course landscaping always takes up space when you don't know what to put there. That is usually my go-to if I can't figure out what to do with something. Unlike landscaping, flowers, trees, bushes, that will take up so much space and honestly change the vibe of your build. Whether it's a dead area, whether it's a floral area, there's usually some type of landscaping, even if it's a natural form of landscaping and not something that was man-made or put together. So if you're ever into building and trying to figure out what to do, just think of that. Even if it's a junkyard, we'll call it landscaping, in that fact. But I hope you enjoyed this build. You can get this in the gallery, like I said. All my information is linked down below. You can get this no CC, and then the only difference is if you do get it CC'd, I already have Deco Sims around, and so that's the only difference, but you can put in your own that you have. I know I have specific movie theater decos that you can also get in that mod and CC document that is linked down below. So I want to appreciate you guys and thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you use this build. Don't miss any of the live streams over on TikTok. I do on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love you, and the pictures are coming up, and I just want to tell you happy simming. Have a good rest of the day or night wherever you are, and this is Luna. Galaxy out.